Welcome. Welcome, and thank you for being here. We are gathered here to remember, to honor, and to celebrate the life of Mae O'Shea. My name is Claire Helton, and I am honored to be here and to have the privilege of officiating this service for Mae, for her family, and for all those who knew and loved her. I knew Mae as a beloved member of this congregation, and although I haven't been a part of UUCP for all that long, I've never got to know her well. It has been such a joy over the last several weeks to get to learn her story from those of her, those that did know and love her so well and for so long. So as we're gathered today, we'll take the opportunity to reflect, to hear some of those stories of her life, to sing together, and in all of it, our hope and our prayer is that Mae's memory will be honored here among us. And so to help us begin in this time together, I'll ask Nancy Hagman. She's going to come and read the chalice lighting for us as I light the flame.
In our time of grief, we light a flame of sharing, the flame of ongoing life. In this time, when we search for understanding and serenity in the face of loss, we light this sign of our quest for truth, meaning, and community.
We'll now sing a hymn that's been requested by Mae's family, one that many of us will likely recognize. It's called Great is Thy Faithfulness. You should have a printout in your program. This one isn't in our UU hymnal, so we've got it there on the page. The words will also be on the screen if that's easier for anyone. And so if you're willing and able, would you stand with us and let's sing Great is Thy Faithfulness. be seated. We'll turn now to our responsive reading, which is printed for you in the program. It's a litany of remembrance by Rabbi Sylvan Kamens and Rabbi Jack Reamer. And so as I read the opening of each line, you're invited to respond with the words, "We remember them." In the rising of the sun and in its going down, in the blowing of the wind and in the chill of winter, in the opening of buds and in the rebirth of spring, in the blueness of the sky and in the warmth of summer, in the rustling of leaves and in the beauty of autumn, in the beginning of the year and when it ends, when we are weary and in need of strength, when we are lost and sick at heart, when we have joys we yearn to share. So long as we live, they too shall live, for they are now a part of us as we remember them. Thank you. And I'll now invite Mae's daughter, Sandy, to come up as she prepares to sing a song that I know from talking with her has real significance for her. This is the song, "I'll Fly Away."
Some glad morning when this life is o'er, I'll fly away to a home on God's celestial shore. I'll fly away. I'll fly away, oh glory, I'll fly away. When I die, hallelujah, by and by, I'll fly away. When the shadows of this life have gone, I'll fly away. Like a bird from prison bars is flown, I'll fly away. I'll fly away, oh glory, I'll fly away. When I die, hallelujah, by and by, I'll fly away. Just a few more weary days and then I'll fly away to a land where joy shall never end. I'll fly away. I'll fly away, oh glory, I'll fly away. In the morning, when I die, hallelujah, by and by, I'll fly away. I'll fly away.
Thank you, Sandy. Well, as I've prepared for this day, knowing that we would be holding this service directly following our service this morning that focused on the role that music plays in our lives, I've been struck by the significance of the musical choices that Mae's family made for this service of remembrance. So we started with that hymn, "Great is Thy Faithfulness," and it's one of these hymns that I sang hundreds of times in the church where I grew up. It was a staple. And regardless of what spiritual perspective we each bring to it, that hymn offers us the gift, especially on a day like today, of a grounding point in gratitude for that which holds us steady in difficult times. And a lot of folks who sing that hymn regularly don't even realize where the lyrics have come from, and I love this, so I share it every chance I get. They're drawn straight from the book of Lamentations in the Hebrew Bible, which is essentially a book of grief poetry. In the midst of verse after verse after verse of lament and despair over the suffering of their people, the poet comes up for air just for a moment, the briefest moment, just a couple of verses, to remember that even in the depths of grief, there is a love that holds us faithfully and a compassion that never fails. And so what a gift when we are grieving to be able to ground ourselves in gratitude for that which remains constant, even while the world around us is in chaos. And then there's Sandy's beautiful choice of the old spiritual I'll Fly Away, which boldly claims the rightful place of joy and hope within the context of death and grief and loss. What I love about that song is that the joy isn't just in the land that we're flying away to, that land where joy shall never end, but the joy is also in the tone and the hopefulness of the song itself. After all, the song isn't really even about anyone else. We sing it often at funerals, but it's not they'll fly away, it's I'll fly away. It's an invitation to embrace not only rejoicing with those who've gone before us and are now at rest, but the part inside each of us that knows our own time will come, and that when it does, there is a love and a peace beyond our understanding waiting to lift us up on the wind as we fly home too. And then finally, I've been so grateful for the chance to learn a new hymn as I've prepared for today called Let It Be a Dance. It's one that we'll sing as our closing hymn at the end of the service, and one that Mae specifically requested that we would sing at her funeral because she loved it so much. I've been told that Mae herself was known to dance a time or two, and so I hope when we get to it later in the service, if you feel so moved, let your body move along with the music as a way of honoring her. And that song calls on that metaphor of dancing as a way to make it through life with ease and grace. Through the good times and the bad, the flexibility that dancing offers and requires of us, learning to follow, learning to lead, learning to spin, learning to bend. It's a call to a gentle and playful approach to life, as well as to death, which is, after all, what gives life its meaning. And so with these songs and the gifts that they offer echoing in our ears and in our hearts, I'd like to turn now to read from the eulogy that's been prepared by Mae's family that will give us that broader picture of Mae's beautiful and meaningful life. If you do want to read along, this is printed in your program as well. Mae O'Shea lived 93 years. She was born Mae Kemp in the small town of Sneads, Florida, in the Panhandle near Georgia, northeast of Panama City and northwest of Tallahassee. When she was 12, her family moved to Dunkirk, New York, on Lake Erie, the winter snow machine. She was a high school cheerleader and afterward married Thomas O'Shea, and they moved for his career several times and lived in Newark, New Jersey, Buffalo, New York, Columbia, Tennessee, Lawrenceburg, Tennessee, Lewiston, New York, and Berea, Ohio. And together they raised 5 children: Sandy, Tom, Patrick, Kitty, and Tim. Her sister Laura served in the Air Force and married Roy McGee. They traveled for Roy's military career and raised 3 children, Sean, Kevin, and Missy. And their mother Bernice moved from Dunkirk back to Florida and lived in Pensacola. The O'Shea family traveled there to visit Bernice and husband Van Cooper annually. Mae's pride was deeply rooted in the love of her children. She accepted each as their own unique individual. She was proud of their successes and accomplishments, endurance, and the love and heart they bring to the world. And when they said to her, "Love you, Mom," her reply would be, "Love you more." After she and Tom divorced, Mae attended Baldwin Wallace College in Berea, receiving a bachelor's degree with a major in psychology, followed by a master's degree in social work from Case Western University in Cleveland. She worked as a social worker in Ohio, primarily in the capacity of children's services. She also became a loving Grammy Mae to Skylar, Devin, Liam, Donovan, Emma, Dashiell, Alex, and Giuseppe. Mae loved being a college student. Her passion for learning sent her to New Orleans, where she continued her studies on a PhD in clinical social work at Tulane University. And after completing her coursework, she settled in Pensacola. Her sister Laura, who after raising children also went to school for bachelor's and master's degrees, also settled in Pensacola to retire after living abroad for her own career in federal government, including the U.S. aid. In Pensacola, Mae worked for Lutheran Services and then Gulf Coast Kids House, where Nancy Hagman was her supervisor. Mae was active in CIF International, a social workers exchange organization, serving a term as president. And she made several trips to Europe to attend their conferences and would extend her stay to tour neighboring countries, exploring their cultures. Her world travels cultivated her love of good food and wine, and she enjoyed her daily happy hour with an hors d'oeuvre. She found a church home here at the Unitarian Universalist Church of Pensacola, receiving an honorarium for her commitment to UU values. And politically, Mae was a proud liberal, a Democrat, and a feminist. Very connected to world events, Mae followed the news every day on television and in the newspaper. She was also very in tune with herself. She was aware of her needs and desires, as well as her limitations. Mae loved to play bridge, belonged to a dance club, attended festivals and concerts at the opera and symphony. She enjoyed watching sports on TV, forever a Cleveland and Buffalo fan, and attended Blue Wahoo's games, probably with some of us in the room. And never call her on Sunday nights because she wouldn't miss her beloved Masterpiece Theater on PBS. She was an avid reader and always had a book in progress. She loved the Chautauqua Institution in New York, and for many years she spent a week there in the summer attending lectures and concerts. Mae was known to be very fashionable, coordinating her clothes, jewelry, and shoes, and Chico's was her favorite clothing store. Celebrating holidays, both religious and national, was important to her, so she would watch the National Memorial Day concert and the 4th of July fireworks over New York City on TV, and always wear green on St. Patrick's Day. She hosted a Christmas Eve gathering for many years. She retired when she was 75, and later became a great-grandmother to Ophelia and Leo. Mae made many friends over the years, both male and female. She and her good friends Charlotte Crane and Mary Ann Kelly all lived to a great age. They liked to call themselves the Three Musketeers. Mae celebrated her 90th birthday at Culver's with family and friends, including Charlotte, Jack Comstock, Hedwig Anderson, Nancy Hagman, Rose Kuhn, Hannah-Laura Musial, Paula Montgomery, Bill Kaplinger, and Kate and Jack Wolverton. Jack and Nancy were especially devoted friends in her final year of health struggles. Mae's son Tim lived with her for the last 6 years of her life. He was a constant caregiver, and his presence, along with the support of her sister Laura, enabled her to live out her years in her home. Her children have much gratitude to them for their devotion. Mae was blessed with a quality of life that made her happy. She accepted aging with grace and lived life to the fullest, down to her last days attending church here at UUCP and lunching with her daughter Sandy and her sister Laura. So I'll invite Sandy now to come back up and share a personal reflection. And after that, we'll have one other that's been prepared by her daughter Kitty, and then we'll open up the floor for others who might have a memory to share. But first, let's hear from Sandy.
Being a member of this church was very important to my mom. She loved belonging to a community of like-minded soulmates and feeling support for her beliefs in social justice. My mother had a passion for helping others, from her own children to all children. And she had a heart for institutions of aid, such as the Democratic Party, St. Jude's Hospital, and the UU Church. She was proud of UUCP, and while she made some friends playing bridge, she met all of her close friends here. Having a memorial service here really meant something to her. She spoke to me about it on more than one occasion. I want to thank her friends here for all they have done to make that happen, especially Nancy Hagman and Jack Comstock. And I thank each of you for staying today to remember her. Her gifts to me included love, trust, belief, support, her dreams for me, her pride, her praise. We were alike, and we were different. I know how much I owe to my parents, my existence, my childhood home, wherever that was, my siblings, and much of my character, good and bad. My parents rose above their circumstances. They gave me a life so much better than the childhood they experienced. Some lighthearted memories that I enjoy include the fact that Mom was such a clothes horse. She cared about her appearance until the very end. Even when she was at home, her top and bottom had to match. She would notice and comment on my garment choices as well, usually with praise, but occasionally with a suggestion for improvement, like, that top would look better with gray pants. She cared about health, and she exercised when she was a bit younger, but she was a fiend for dessert. Indulging after dinner was a requirement every night, and that was after mid-afternoon coffee and cookies. She loved men. She had a crush on Frank Sinatra and another on Robert Redford, whom she called "Oh-luscious." And she had a crush on Thomas Jefferson, a little more cerebral, but. Her book reading was a great inspiration to me as a child. She was a member of the Reader's Digest Condensed Book Club, and I loved it when those came to the house. Pensacola shines in my memories due to our family vacations, visiting my grandmother and the beach. We drove down here, so the road trips with a car full of kids were the kind of torture that fuels sibling laughter later in life. We always had one dinner out at Perry's restaurant, and us kids got to have Shirley Temples. One standout memory in my adult visits was the time I came with my young son when there was a Blue Angels show on the beach. Mom was so excited that we should experience this, and she went to the beach at the crack of dawn to get us a spot. Slight exaggeration. The show was thrilling. Remember that, Sky? So that was wonderful. Mom's love of beauty was an influence on me also. Art, flowers, music, decor, architecture, Christmas trees, clothes. In May 2024, I got to go out to lunch with the Three Musketeers. It was their final gathering. Mary Ann was leaving to go back home to New York, and they knew her health would not permit her to return. Shortly after, Charlotte entered hospice care. I mean, very shortly after. And she called May to say goodbye. Mary Ann passed away in September. That same month, Mom had a serious fall, followed by months of rehab, then months of home care. She struggled greatly in her last year, but she remained grateful for the goodness and the beauty of life. Her friends and her family mattered to her. People mattered to her. Caring for people was important to her. I couldn't have done the work she did. I admired her. I loved her.
Thank you, Sandy. I'm going to read some words prepared by Kitty about her mother. My mom was a woman that redefined herself her entire life. She came from the most meager of beginnings. I was always proud that my mom came from Florida and we had an ancestral connection to the South. She embraced every opportunity that came her way and never looked back. Some of my favorite childhood memories are Christmas morning when she and my dad would make us kids wait at the end of the bedroom hall until 6 a.m. to wake them up, to go out to the tree where our Christmas wishes came true in a room that was magically transformed. Crawling into bed with her when I couldn't sleep after I had a bad dream, staring at the glow of her electric blanket controller on the nightstand. And slumber parties when she would bake a birthday cake and heat up frozen pizzas for my friends. We started college at the same time and started our post-college lives together, sharing an apartment. About 10 years later, when I bought a home, she lived with me again for 9 months, and then she went to New Orleans. I felt our roles were reversed as I helped her get settled in to attend college. Both my parents inspired in me a love of travel. I was fortunate to meet Mom in Sweden after she spent 6 weeks participating in a social worker exchange. And we traveled to Norway and Denmark. And my mother, sister, and I also made a girls' trip to Asheville, North Carolina to tour the Biltmore Mansion during the holiday season. And it was a treasured fairy tale experience for us all. During my life, I wished my mom lived closer to me, but I knew she was always where she wanted to be. And even though I didn't get to physically be with her every day, her longevity allowed me to spend many years with her. Pensacola has always felt like a second home. And during my 14 years of parenting, I've often wondered how she juggled 5 kids when I only have 1. She never tired of being a grandparent, and her longevity allowed my son to spend his whole life coming to Pensacola so that we could all be together. She was very proud of me. As my parents aged, I learned that they become more dependent on you, which solidifies the bond of your enduring love. You become as close in heart and mind as you were when they raised you as a child. And as our hearts heal from the loss of her parental love, a love like no other, we will live our lives as a tribute to her and the happiness that she wanted for us. Our faith in God reminds us to have hope for the future. We must carry on with our journey and celebrate life together with our family and friends. Love you more. We'll ask Tim to come. Tim has some words prepared. And then after that, we'll have a time. I'll come down to this microphone, and if there are others who have words to share. But we'll hear from Tim.
I didn't know I was on the billing. It was a beautiful eulogy, and I really appreciated what my sister said. And yeah, I'm Tim. I'm Mae's youngest, and yeah, I've been her home caregiver for years, and it was the hardest but most rewarding thing I've ever done in my life. If I lose my train of thought, you can blame my cousin Sean, which admitted he dropped me on my head when I was a child. So we've had a rough year, the O'Sheas and McGees. We lost my dad, my mom, lost our cousin Kevin, and we lost Alan, who was a really awesome guy. Yeah, I've been taking care of Mom, and none of that would have been possible to keep her in her home if it wasn't for my Aunt Laura. My Aunt Laura did so much for my mom. Gave her the ability to stay in her home as opposed to in a home, and gave me the ability to stay there and take care of her. And Laura, you know what you've done for me, and you don't like accolades, so I'm not going to further go along that. Yeah, what was said earlier about you was perfectly put. Mom loved this church. I brought her up here every Sunday, and she loved the diversity, the inclusion, the open-mindedness. It represented everything that she was. And last, I want to thank my dog Laszlo, because he's helped me go through all this. And when I first moved in, I thought I was staying for a week, and it ended up being quite longer than that. But she said, I don't know if I want a dog. I said, Mom, it's a package deal. He's going to come. And it only took a week. She fell in love with him, and she loved him, brought her so much happiness. When I'd get her up in the morning, Laszlo was there spinning around and jumping up, and boy, she would just light up in the morning and be like, good morning. You know, she loved to see Laszlo. I'm pretty sure it wasn't for me, it was more for the dog. But I really appreciate the people of you that have showed my mom so much love. Nancy and Jack, Jack, she loved when you came over, man. And it wasn't just for the soup and the desserts. She loved sitting there and talking with you, and you every time you came over, you made her day. And I don't know, it's quick and short, and I'm so glad to see my family here, and you guys put everything beautifully, and yeah, I guess that's all I got to say. I didn't write anything very eloquent, but I just wanted to speak from the heart, and thank you for being my mom's friend. Thanks.
We'll get this mic turned on. Thank you, Tim. And so if there are others who want to share a memory or words about Mae, this is the family's invitation to you.
Sorry. I actually did not prepare anything, but I do have a couple of things that sort of play off of all the other remarks. I am Missy McGee, Laura's daughter, and Mae's niece. Did I get that right? Yes. Okay. And when you mentioned the trips down to Pensacola, that was during the era that we lived in the Panhandle, about half hour or 40 minutes away over in Fort Walton Beach. And that's a big memory for all of us. We remember, some, or not necessarily summers, but I guess spring breaks and stuff. So, but over the years, as I grew and we moved a lot, didn't see Mae as much as we did now. But I recall one particular time in 1996 when my son Jake was around 4 or 5, and Mae and my mother came up to Virginia to have Thanksgiving dinner with us. And I'm a decent cook, but I was terrified of making the gravy. And so I have a distinct memory of my mother on one side and Mae on the other, and just talking me through it, how to get it done. And I've always thought about that. That was a nice memory, just like the old school, passing on the knowledge. And then fast forward to the last decade or so that we've been coming down here and saw Mae a lot more. And one of the first things she said to me is like, "Do you remember when your mom and I made that gravy, or helped you make that gravy?" So it's just a testament to how she was very, very in tune to her family and enjoyed every minute. So that's about it. She was a lovely woman, and she always said, "You're my favorite niece." And I'm like, "Do you have that many nieces?" I don't know. But she was very lovely. So anyway, that's all.
Thank you.
I just flew in this morning, so I'm a little tired. I only got a couple hours of sleep last night, so bear with me. Yeah, I just wanted to kind of say thank you all for being here. I love Grammy very much. She was my Grammy Mae. I'm Skylar, by the way, Sandy's son. And yeah, I loved her so much. I just wanted to thank all of you. I want to thank Uncle Tim especially for, taking care of her the last few years. And again, she seemed to really love this church and all of you guys. I was here once or twice, I think, for a couple services with her. But no, she would always travel a good amount, and whenever she did that, she'd usually get me some little trinket from Germany or wherever, Ireland. And I just know that she cared about me a lot. And we had birthdays close to each other, so we were always at least calling each other near our birthdays to check in. Every holiday, we'd pass the phone around per usual with Papa and Grammy. And yeah, she did a lot for me. She was there for graduation, and she just always was very supportive of everything I was doing. Yeah, my little one, 4 years old now, Leo, she was my Grammy Mae, but she was Leo's Gigi. So she loved Leo a lot and loved seeing him whenever I could get him up down here. And yeah, I just wanted to say I love you, Gigi. I love you, Grammy. Leo loves you too. And thank you all. Yeah.
My name's Paula, and I'm a member of this church, and that's how I knew Mae. But she was always interested in whatever I had going on. She just paid such close attention, it seemed to me. And what I mainly, one thing I really remember was that she had Christmas Eve parties. And she moved into she was in a very small space. And so we were like sardines in those at these Christmas parties, but there was wine and there was cookies, and it was wonderful. And she did that as long as she could, and it was great.
Sandy asked me how affected I was by Mae's death, and I said, "Oh, it's fine. I'm good." And then I began to realize, as the time came closer to this service, the impact that Mae had. My very first thought of Mae is she was such a hoot, and she drove me nuts at times. Mae was very opinionated. She definitely told you what she wanted. She definitely told you what she didn't want. And I looked to her for so many things I didn't realize I was looking to her for. She and I started working together. When she came here to retire. And she took on a full-time job instead of what she thought she was going to do. I think she thought she would get half-time and play the rest, which she did not do. And she worked until many, many years later. And her sister Laura was one of the people that helped her figure out how she actually could retire. And she, she taught me how to fight. She would bump up against me, and I would bump up against her in our opinions or our thoughts, and she taught me how to stand my ground. And for that, I will never forget. And I realized that you can bump up against people and you can come out on the other side. We worked closely together. We worked as a team. We appreciated each other's knowledge and experience and expertise, and we grew. We traveled many, many times to many, many trainings, but she taught me how to eat dinner. You do not eat dinner. You sit down. You have a glass of wine. You may have hors d'oeuvres. You don't eat. You slowly nibble. Then you have your main course. It'll be good. It'll take you a while. And then you will have dessert. And you will be there for a while. So pick a good restaurant. Do not do anything fast food. My goodness, I don't think she knew what fast food was. And if it was, it didn't go in her mouth fast. She said, we will enjoy this. The other thing, she did love food. At lunch, she would make sure we left the building. She said, you cannot survive the work that we do without getting out of the space that you're in, enjoy an hour of lunch, and then come back. And she was right. It was something I did the rest of my career. I did not eat from my desk. I did not carry a sandwich. And at home, I was accused of spending a lot of money on lunch, and I didn't care. I was struggling when I first moved here, and I was looking for a church, and Mae had already started at UUCP, and she said, maybe you'll try it. Why don't you just try it? You've tried a bunch, and maybe it'll work for you. And I walked through the door, and I never left. The impact that Mae had on my life over a long period of time and continually, but I can't stop talking about her unless I talk about music. She loved music. She loved that her family loved music. She never went to a conference that they didn't have a party in a ballroom, and she made me dance with her every single time. She danced on her wheels. She danced constantly. It was in her soul, and she would talk about the soul of being in a music body that never stopped moving. She loved her family. She loved talking about all of you. I could tell you the stories that she told me about each one of you because each of you were dear to her. She loved being around her family. She talked about Skylar. She talked about her grandchildren. She was thrilled with Kitty having a son. There were so many things that she indoctrinated me with your family. And as I heard all of these things, it just brought back this flood of conversations we had, because we had plenty of lunches and dinners. And I loved her, and she loved me, and she loved being here with you, UCP. We were her home. We were her home here, and she rests within us. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Giuseppe. I'm Kitty's son, Grammy, as I would call her, Grammy Mae's grandson. With her being down here, it allowed me every spring break and every Christmas break to come down to Florida and get a break from Ohio weather and be in the warmth. And she loved to see me come down, and I love to come down here and be with her. And I have one real vivid memory of coming down for her 90th birthday party, and so many people were there. She had the brightest smile on her face, talking to everyone. And when we pulled out the cake, well, me, Aunt Sandy, and my mom, we went to get the cake at Publix. And we pulled all of the cousins and my aunts and uncles over and showed them that the cake had a backwards 9 on it. So Grammy Mae had no idea of this, but we all did. And she had the smile on her face when we brought the cake out and sung to her. And she didn't realize. And then eventually we told her, and she started laughing. And it was a real good moment for me. I was about 9 or 10, I think. And I love to see her happy in her conditions. And yeah, and I just thank you all for coming here today to honor her.
I'm Jack, and I visited Mae and knew her quite well. And Mae taught me stuff. She was feisty, really feisty. She also had a zest for life, a real zest. And she had a heart procedure. I don't know exactly what it was, but I thought to myself, and this is not good at her age. And then the next week, she was at church, and she said, "I'm happy to be here." That was the truth. And she really had a zest for life, and overcame a lot of different difficulties at times, and that was impressive. So you learn quite a bit if you allow yourself to know people. So it was very nice knowing her, and sometimes you're lucky to make friends when you're a little older.
If there are no others, I think Sandy has some out-of-town folks that couldn't be here that you wanted to read. Do you want to go up there?
Now, I know there was one other person who sent me a text that she was coming, and she said such lovely things. And I said, "Would you please get up and say those things at the service? Did you chicken out?" Oh, well. I am going to read some messages from friends that are unable to be here. From Ellen Davis, who was Charlotte Crane's daughter. Mae was such a strong, vibrant, happy, loving friend. She was such a beautiful soul, full of life, laughter, and so much joy, always quick to give it away. She absolutely was a bright spirit in my mom's life. From Mary Lou Donnelly of UUCP, she sent a card. Mae was so witty and engaging and will be missed by anyone who knew her. From John and Angie Golubik, close friends of Tim, who visited Mom last December. She was a sweet, kind, funny, very smart lady. We will never forget her or her spirit. From my friend Susan Schaefer, your mom brought beautiful light to life, which continues on. Del Schaefer, Susan's mom, was a flaming liberal and a great lady whom I really enjoyed knowing. Del and Mae really clicked. Kitty knew the Schaefers too. All of us gathered during a visit to Chautauqua Institution where Del hosted a dinner for her own 90th birthday. Del loved the book, The Little Prince, and Susan sent this quote. In one of the stars, I shall be living. In one of them, I shall be laughing. And so it will be as if all the stars were laughing when you look at the sky at night.
We'll have a reading now from a poem written by Charlotte Crane, one of those three musketeers. This poem is called Postscript. Growing old is like a postscript, saying amen to a life well lived. No more dreams, no more wars, only what is. There was always blood, always an ending. Be kind now. Be willing. Hear the bird sing, the dog bark. Let the tiger roar and the infant laugh. Be content. Write your story and close your book. Love more than before. Leave a memory for your grandchild and a legacy for the earth. Peace will come, later or sooner. By Charlotte Crane. Thank you for this time together, and we'll invite you now to stand, if you're able and willing, and sing that closing hymn that Mae wanted us to sing today. It's in the gray hymnal, which should be in the seat in front of you or behind you if you're on the front row. It's number 311, Let It Be a Dance. The dark gray, the thicker one. remain standing. We'll read our closing words and then I'll extinguish our chalice, though we know that we will carry with us the light that has been kindled here. And so these words are written by UU minister Barbara Pescan. Because of those who came before, we are. In spite of their failings, we believe. Because of and in spite of the horizons of their vision, we too dream. Let us go, remembering to praise, to live in the moment, to love mightily, and to bow to the mystery. Amen. You can go in peace, and maybe someone will come and share some words about what we need to do next, but there's a meal for us to enjoy. So if there's, sorry, I realize I don't have instructions to give you. Oh, and yeah, we'll recycle.
Jack Comstock has prepared a lunch for all of us, and it's in this side room. So please, everyone, proceed over there.
not gonna, oh, I need to see what my phone is doing. Hopefully it's not something like, you have to drop Rena off at blah, blah, blah. Like that. So yeah, I think I'll stop in.
Well, even if you have to
Too
run,
much
I mean,
going
grab
on.
some food and take it with you.
Well, that's very sweet. Thank you. I'll certainly stop in. Absolutely.
Okay.
Unless there's an emergency, which it doesn't look like there is. Thanks, Sandy.
Thank you.
Nice working with you as always.